Most people think they'd know if they were losing respect. They imagine there would be a moment, a mistake, a confrontation, a clear signal something changed. But that moment almost never comes. Instead, something quieter happens. People interrupt a little more, jokes land differently, your opinions carry slightly less weight. Nothing dramatic, just a slow shift you can feel but can't explain. And here's the unsettling part. That shift usually starts long before you notice it, through small behaviors that seem harmless in isolation, behaviors that feel polite, reasonable, even mature. But together, they quietly change how people see you. What most people misunderstand about respect is this. Respect isn't something people feel about you. It's something their brain quietly calculates about you. Every interaction provides data. Every response sends a signal. Every small behavior adds to an internal estimate of where you stand socially. People aren't consciously judging you all the time, but their perception of your position is constantly updating. And those updates don't come from your intentions, your personality, or even your abilities. They come from patterns, small, repeated signals that suggest how much autonomy you have, how firm your boundaries are, how much weight your presence carries in a room. Individually, these signals don't mean much, but together, they shape how seriously you're taken, how much consideration you receive, and how others adjust their behavior around you. That's why respect rarely disappears all at once. It drifts quietly, and usually through behaviors that seem harmless in isolation. Here are 6 of the most common ones. Behavior 1. Over-explaining simple things. You make a decision where to eat, which route to take, when to leave a gathering. Instead of simply stating your choice, now you walk through your entire reasoning process. I think we should leave now because traffic gets heavy after 9, and I have an early meeting tomorrow. Plus, I'm getting tired, and I know Sarah has to work in the morning too. This feels considerate. You're showing that you've thought it through, that you're not being arbitrary or selfish. But here's what's actually happening. When you over-explain simple decisions, you signal that your choices require approval. You're communicating that your judgment isn't sufficient on its own. It needs external validation to be complete. The mechanism is subtle, but consistent. People unconsciously categorize others based on how much justification they provide. Those who explain extensively are perceived as seeking permission. Those who state decisions simply are perceived as having authority. The more someone feels compelled to justify themselves, the less others assume their position is secure. This pattern teaches people that your decisions are open for discussion, that your reasoning can be evaluated, that your choices are subject to review. Over time, they stop seeing your decisions as final information and start seeing them as opening positions in negotiations. Behavior 2. Laughing off disrespect. Someone makes a comment that crosses a line about your appearance, your capabilities, your choices. Instead of addressing it directly, you smile and laugh it off. "Oh, you're so mean," you say with a chuckle, deflecting the tension with humor. This feels mature. You're not escalating conflict. You're keeping things light. You're showing that you don't take yourself too seriously. But social systems operate on a simple principle. What meets no resistance gets categorized as acceptable. When someone tests a boundary and encounters no cost, they don't think, "This person is secure and unbothered." They think, "This person tolerates this level of treatment." The key insight? People don't remember what was said. They remember whether it had consequences. Each time you laugh off disrespect, you're providing data about your boundaries. You're teaching others what they can say in your presence, how they can treat you, what level of consideration you require. Your humor isn't protecting you from conflict. It's training others that conflict with you is unnecessary because you'll absorb whatever they dish out. Behavior 3. Immediate availability. Your phone buzzes, you respond within minutes. Someone asks for a favor, you accommodate immediately. Plans change last minute. You adjust without complaint. This feels helpful and reliable, and you're showing that you're responsive, flexible, someone others can count on. But availability operates on the same principle as economics. Scarcity signals value. When access to you is unlimited, your presence carries less weight. When your time is always flexible, that your schedule appears less important. When you are perpetually accommodating, your own priorities seem negotiable. The pattern creates a specific expectation. Others learn that you'll make room for their needs, that your plans can be adjusted, that your time is available when they need it. This pattern communicates something about your position in the social hierarchy. Regardless of your intention, it suggests that your time is less valuable than theirs, that your priorities are less important than theirs. Over time, people stop asking if you're available. They start assuming you are. Behavior 4. Softening every statement. You have an opinion, but you present it carefully. I might be wrong, but this is just my perspective. I could be off base here. You make a suggestion, but you hedge. Maybe we could try? What if we considered, I was thinking perhaps. This feels humble and collaborative, at you're showing that you're open to other viewpoints, that you don't think you have all the answers, but hedging language does something specific. It reduces perceived conviction, and conviction is one of the primary signals people use to assess authority. When you consistently soften your statements, you're communicating uncertainty about your own positions. You're suggesting that your views might not withstand scrutiny, that your ideas might not be fully formed. The mechanism works like this. When you lower your own confidence preemptively, others adjust their confidence in you accordingly. They don't think this person is thoughtful and humble. They think this person isn't sure about their own ideas. Your hedging isn't making you seem more reasonable, and it's making your position seem less reliable. Behavior 5. Apologizing for neutral things. You arrive at the same time as someone else and say sorry as you both reach for the door. You ask a question in a meeting and preface it with sorry, but you need to leave a conversation and start with sorry to interrupt. This feels polite and considerate. You're acknowledging others, showing awareness of social dynamics, demonstrating courtesy. But frequent apologies create something psychologists call a baseline of fault. When you apologize for neutral actions, you're implying that your presence, your needs, your participation require forgiveness. The pattern establishes a specific dynamic. If you're always at fault, you're rarely in charge. People unconsciously track who apologizes to whom. Those who apologize frequently are perceived as occupying lower positions in social hierarchies. Not because they've done anything wrong, but because they consistently frame their actions as requiring forgiveness. Your politeness isn't making you seem more considerate. It's making you seem like someone who believes they need permission to exist in shared spaces. Behavior 6. Overinvesting early. You meet someone new and immediately offer extensive help, detailed advice, or significant time and energy. You're generous with your attention, your resources, your availability. This feels warm and giving. You're showing that you're a good person, someone who cares about others, someone who invests in relationships. But investment patterns communicate something about leverage. When your effort consistently exceeds theirs, your position appears weaker, even when your intentions are generous. The mechanism operates below conscious awareness. People notice who's working harder in the relationship, who's more eager to please, who's more invested in the outcome. Disproportionate early investment signals that you need the relationship more than they do. It suggests that your social options are limited, that your time is less valuable, that their approval matters more to you than yours does to them. The key insight: when effort is disproportionately high on one side, it signals unequal leverage. So even if the intention is generosity, none of these behaviors destroys respect in a single interaction. That's exactly what makes them dangerous. Each instance feels manageable. That's even positive. The overexplanation seems thorough. The deflected disrespect seems mature. The immediate availability seems helpful. But respect doesn't disappear dramatically. It erodes through accumulated signals that suggest your position is negotiable, your boundaries are flexible, your authority is conditional. This is how status shifts happen in social systems. Not through dramatic events, but through repeated low-cost signals. Each behavior reinforces the others. The person who overexplains also tends to apologize for neutral things. The person who's immediately available also tends to overinvest early. Together, These behaviors create a comprehensive picture of someone whose social position is uncertain, whose boundaries are permeable, whose respect must be earned rather than assumed. The most insidious part. The erosion happens so gradually, you don't notice it. You just notice, eventually, that people treat you differently. They interrupt you more often, they dismiss your opinions more quickly, they assume your availability more readily, and you have no idea when it started. Respect isn't something you earn through virtue or lose through vice. It's something you communicate through patterns. Every behavior sends a signal about your position in the social structure. Every response provides data about your boundaries. Every interaction teaches others how to treat you. The behaviors we've discussed aren't character flaws. They're communication errors. They broadcast messages you never intended to send about your availability, your authority, your position. Most people never realize they're sending these signals because the behaviors feel positive in the moment. Overexplaining feels thorough. Deflecting disrespect feels mature. Constant availability feels helpful. But social systems don't respond to your intentions. They respond to your patterns. And patterns that signal uncertainty, availability, and negotiable boundaries gradually reshape how others perceive and treat you. The recognition of this dynamic doesn't require you to become harsh or calculating. It simply requires awareness of what your behavior communicates beyond your conscious intentions. Because respect ultimately isn't about who you are, it's about what your patterns reveal, about who you think you are. If you found this analysis useful, there's more where it came from. This channel explores the subtle psychological dynamics that shape how we're perceived and treated. The patterns most people never notice, but everyone responds to. Subscribe for more insights into social behavior, status dynamics, and the invisible forces that govern human interaction. Because understanding these patterns isn't about manipulation, it's about clarity.